number 3 between Newbee and Bang coming out from the Saints
Kindred,
lineup.
yay! Or Ezreal.
Possibly. I think Kindred would be a little bit more likely here, especially with Caitlyn being left up in the Bendable. You have to think STYC would want to play that champion. He's known for it. It's doing really well in the current meta as well.
And it's funny how this single series has actually swayed how everybody wants to pick and ban as well. Like the Braum winning both games, the Alistar obviously not doing enough, caused some problems. The Kindred as well, actually doing its job quite effectively. The Ezreal has also played a big part.
Yep.
Happy's shown he can play more than one champion, definitely, but STYZ's got a very big preference towards that Ezreal. Now that the Lucian's banned.
And to be honest, we've seen what STYC can do with this Ezreal. There's no surprise that he has a preference towards picking up the champion. I'm interested to see, though, if Saints are going to pick up the Caitlyn over the Ezreal despite the good performance STYC's had on the past 2 games, as they do not go for the Braum pickup. Instead, they lock in Kindred as their first pick.
As they should. The flip side response from Saint can be quite flexible if they want to actually pick strong champions for themselves, such as the Ezreal, and maybe go for the Braum with it, deny a bottom lane option from Newbee, then they can afford to do that. Or if they want to pick their jungle role early to not reveal too much of their hand, then absolutely, I think they should look towards that.
Well, looks like they actually want to pick up the Caitlyn here as their first pick. Let's see if they do pick that one and lock it in here. And it's something that is banned away against STYZ quite frequently.
Yeah.
The only other win that Saint have had besides the last
Pretty much just cross your fingers and hope.
Well, let's see what they do. Lock in. V actually switched out from his Ignite teleport, so Fizz being locked in here. Be interesting. We're just going to have to switch back to that Ignite. But it is going to get locked in. No, last second change. It's going to be the Echo pickup.
So look towards the Echo option and get rid of that Fizz. Knowing there's no Swain and Vladimir, Real as another. Spell middle also by playing Twisted Fate kind of alleviates extra map movement and pressure and lets you do it yourself.
As we're also going to see the Victor being the lock-in for Saint one more time. Newbee were able to take that champion to the Rift. He had a MVP performance in game number 1 on that champion.
He did. Very impressive. So they've locked in their full comp, and that's about as standard as it gets. That's bread and butter right now for Saint. If they can continue their game 2 and even game 1 early game form, this should be an easy battle for them to take it to Newbee with, but a complete change-up on the flip side.
You know, one player that's been rather consistent on the Saint lineup, besides selling his boots a couple of times, has been STYZ. Had 2 good games. Started off game 1 strong. Game 2 was just fairly consistent. Now he's on a very, very comfortable champion being Caitlyn. Yeah. This match is actually, I'm surprised to say this, but going to be scary for Newbee.
Yep, I think if you're a Newbee fan, you're crossing your fingers and your toes and everything that you can cross. As it's not going to be the best position for them going to Game 3 against Saint as it is, and based off their Game 2 performance, they don't look like they're in form. Saint look like they're potentially on the rise. This could determine that.
Well, let's see if they can do that as we head into game number 3 between Newbee and Saint. Unfortunately, it seems like we're having a little bit of a technical difficulty between Saint and Newbee. Hopefully we'll be able to get that one resolved before we head into game number 3 between the 2 teams.
The old tech difficulties strike again. Headset volume last time, of course.
Mm-hmm.
You would imagine
Swift
that could be an issue. Yeah, just blame Swift.
Yeah, blame Swift.
Damn it, Swift. At it again, the white vans.
Well, hopefully we'll be able to get that fixed as soon as possible before we head into the game. But this is the 3rd and final match.
Have you noticed, so Acorn has a resting, smiling face. And you can tell they just got back into the game as well because he started smiling because he was concentrating. It's one of the more endearing features of Saint's top laner.
Of Acorn. It's been around the scene for quite some time.
See, look at you. He's happy.
That's not happy.
That's absolutely a happy.
He's on the other team, Rusty.
Look, man.
That's Acorn.
Everyone's got problems.
I don't think that's a problem.
Well, yours is semantics right now. We're actually on Summoner's Riftfish.
Yes, we are. We are into the 3rd and final match between Newbee and Saint here for the 2nd best of 3 series that we have up here today. Once again, Champions is going to be fanning across Summoner's Rift, scouting out vision, spotting out any early invades coming in from either team.
Yeah, so our eyes will always allude towards Dade on this Twisted Fate, and the fact that he is now playing the mid-game heavy, proactive AP carry in the middle lane. He's got a lot to prove based off game number 2. He's always put in work, and he is still a carry for the team, but what Twisted Fate actually excels at is getting the rest of your team going. And I'm shocked if Newbee don't try and lane swap, simply because I think they could afford to do this, as it unlocks the map much further in favor of them by having a Twisted Fate there.
Well, let's see if they do. Now they are moving the AD carry around the map, so it could be a lane swap being initiated by Newbee in game number 2. Acorn going to start off the game by putting 3 saplings down towards the Raptor camp. He has ability power in his runes, means those are going to get taken down and he'll be able to pick up a small experience advantage for himself.
Yep, that means he'll be getting them, not the mid laner, which is sometimes the opposite end of that spectrum. We do still have to put all of our eyes on here. Snoopy was MVP in Game 2, Dade in Game 1. Seems to be that the catalyst of their success stems through this.
And in fact, we are going to see the lane swap coming out from Newbee here. STYZ and Shu poising aggressively down the bottom lane to stop anyone from getting into the lane itself.
Yeah, so this is one of the different things that a lot of people do when their top laner is Echo. They just hang around. They try and actually clear the wave. He's not going to do it. I'm not sure why he wasted that 30 seconds then. But what you're trying to do is slow down the push, reduce the size of the wave that they're pushing with, give a tempo advantage to your team, and then teleport topside. But he definitely didn't opt towards that one, unusually.
Nope. Instead, we're going to look back towards the mid lane as Dade gets a chunk of damage down towards Snoopy there with the Sun card.
Yeah, rule of thumb, you actually leveled your E at level 2 on Twisted Fate, for those that don't know. Gives you attack speed, helps you trade, and you get the bonus on auto attack. Cards are unreliable and easily dodged.
Dade making the use of that so far, able to go toe-to-toe with Snoopy. And takes a shield and laser to the face. For now, though, just a standard lane swap coming out from the Newbee lineup, looking to both teams looking to try and jungle it out with both their top laners and junglers taking away key buffs and sharing experience. We should slowly see them move towards the top and bottom lanes.
Yeah, nice little RNG mark as well for Swift, so he'll be happy about that one. But you're right, things are starting to break out now. We're starting to stem into the mid-stage of a lane swap. We'll see how they start to execute these ones as Dade needs to be a bit careful here.
Takes a lot of damage.
Yeah, Swift was standing still.
Takes some return.
I don't think he knows that it's been warded.
No, he does not.
He's about to find out. Ready? 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 He's Praise Seeker him! He's not ready. He wasn't ready.
He wasn't ready? Or you weren't?
I was so ready. Are you listening?
I think you're ready for the wrong things there, Rusty. There's no pricing that has come out, so Swift is eventually going to run away from that specific spot. But for now,
unlucky.
turrets are going to fall down in the top and bottom lanes. Newbee will be able to take down this outer turret up top. Saint will be able to do the exact same thing down in the bottom lane with a little bit more help coming out from their jungler and top lane.
Yeah, so still full gold will be going to each respective top laner. Malco with a bit more farm, though. Actually in quite a decent position as well, as far as the lane is concerned. They're slightly ahead, I will say, on the side of Newbee for that first turret take. As Master just saying, what up?
Doesn't decide to Praise Seeker. There he goes. There's the Praise Seeker. Finally coming out of March.
But still, that was a different translation there from March. He was playing coy, trying to actually get maybe a gank off into the middle lane because he wants to rotate top side of the map. That's where his strong lane is going to be. It's also where the tower that they want to take is going to be. Except, Newbee have something to say about that.
Newbee are going to be sending Happy up towards the top side of the map as well, so opting to go
What are they
toe-to-toe.
expecting to see here? That's what I want to know.
They're waiting for something.
Yeah, no, I garnered that fact.
Being very patient, didn't get anything out of it.
The question was, what were they expecting? Because, like, was it a deep ward from Sue or March, perhaps, trying to counter jungle? It's unrealistic. They were hiding Happy as well, waiting for that to kind of maybe work out, but it doesn't.
Happy going to use the spell shield quite nicely there to dodge the stun coming out from Bard. STYZ taking a lot of damage there, but gets a lot down towards Happy. Oh, that almost took him down. That was so close.
The red potion helped out a little bit there as well with Happy. Not sold on the waste of spell shield when Braum has his unbreakable he can just throw up. Poor communication.
Whoa, that was aggressive coming from Acorn. There goes the gravity field as well. Dade is going to get locked down here. Does take down the Malcolm return, but still first blood goes over towards Snoopy.
His dying wish was to get those cards out though, so they get the kill in response and Dade has teleport. All things considered, it's not too big of an advantage then gained by Saint, besides perhaps the teleport being forced. This is still the problem lane.
I think
Never
it
gonna
has
change.
been this entire series. Ah, that is not fun. Taking a lot of damage there coming out from the Caitlyn. Zane now moves back towards the mid lane, using that teleport like you mentioned.
And the
Gets
fact
back
that he
there.
got the kill helps out a lot as well. The goal difference, of course, because Snoopy picked one up on his respective side.
Yep.
Could have changed things, but it doesn't. Just the teleport, but... Here's a gank threat for future ganks, however, from March, remembering Flash is down. But with Boots of Swiftness, and that's why I like this pickup, it diffuses that a fair bit.
Able to get her across the lane a little bit quicker. Evade some of the slows as well. So you do see Hakon down in the bottom lane, shoving that one out towards Newbee's side of the map. No turret to bounce it back for the Maokai.
Yeah, and the
This
caution actually displayed post that as well. Look at the way Akon's moving.
Still the ST1Z show up top. He isn't that far ahead though in terms of CS, just a couple right now. But it just looks like Happy's been struggling in that lane. Going
Happy's-
even, but
yeah,
struggling.
It's not necessarily the CS that like separates these two. The defining factor is more so the control that Saint have through STYZ in that bottom lane. It gives a lot of time for Bard, if he so chooses, to disappear, work with March, maybe deep invade, which you can see the kind of posturing towards.
Yep.
It also just gives time for the rest of the map to work accordingly.
This has been a rather different game from game 1 and 2. You know, no early action taking place in either match. As ultimate actually coming up from STYZ, puts some damage down on towards V, pops down the parallel convergence, trying to keep himself alive underneath this turret, but that's a three-man force of Saint here, looking to try
He's
and
level
take
6
down his
now.
Echo. He's going to get stunned and locked down there. Pops the ultimate rather early. Snoopy's moving up to the top lane, puts the Chaos
Ooh.
Storm as well, but it's not going to be fast enough to catch up with the Echo.
That Storm barely missed by the smallest of margins. He actually cleared a lot of that wave, V. He was out of position. He had no right being where he was. But a timely level 6 actually favors Newbee by all of this happening. That was a lot of time wasted for Snoopy going mid, going top from mid.
The only thing they get out of that is they pick up the blue buff there and send V back to base. Which
Oh, they
means
get a lot
Swift-
from this, dude. They get the Drake. They get so
Yep.
much.
Which means Swift can take down this Mountain Dragon as well for themselves.
And look how slow they're going to push that top lane. There's only 2 of them. That'll take them an awful long time in comparison to that of Newbee, who are over-pushing.
This Dragon will fall down. Swift picks up the first of the game. A very favorable spawn for the Newbee lineup, denying it away from STYZ, especially on this Caitlyn. The next Dragon to spawn will be a Mountain Dragon, so definitely going to be contested between these two teams.
And the top lane turret didn't even fall. They held it. So very impressive stuff here from Newbee. At least turning around what was a disastrous game number 2. They get themselves the slight edge with a Twisted Fate in their back pocket to help them out as the game progresses.
And they hold a 1,000 gold lead for themselves at the moment against Snake Saint.
They're laughing at each other. They're actually just laughing at each other. Fair enough. I mean, there's not much else that'll happen in that lane.
Been rather quiet so far on Summoner's Rift between these two teams. Big contrast from what we saw in game 1 and 2. You know what? I think Newbee be pretty happy with that after how laning phase has gone for them so far against
Yeah.
Saints.
I think, honestly, they're pretty content with how this has gone. Remembering that, like, game 1 started from an absolute laning disaster. It was a catastrophe that broke out. So this is leaps and bounds better. I've actually done lane assignments that I'm quite happy with as well for a level 7 situation, or level 6, sorry, Siva. Rotating mid lane, having that spell shield. Will be perfectly fine, you would imagine, having Braum in the back pocket, and actually gives movement and room for Twisted Fate to get around the map more efficiently.
Well, Newbee do have an extra turret for themselves at the moment, which means they have a 1,000 gold lead ahead of Saint for now. So let's see if they can use that advantage for, use that gold advantage to their advantage at
I would
all.
expect the Rift Herald as their next point of attack if it's not a turret. Middle lane, of course, having 2 people means sooner or later they'll start to pressure it. But we'll see.
March gets tagged there by the Brawl passive as he throws the chair out towards him. Snoopy returns to this mid lane, just going to continue farming it up in the mid lane and clearing out wherever he possibly can. STYZ move down to the bottom side of the map, so both teams moving their AD carries and support all across Summoner's Rift so far.
Yeah, lots of movements. I still think this favors Newbee to an extent. especially with bottom having that freeze. What they want to do here with Stu and STYZ is try and push him off.
Okay.
Easier said than done. That's why the Rek'Sai's here. The farm alarm just made Dade just run away.
I think that alarm is only relevant when SOFM's on the champion, from what I've seen in competitive play so far. But for now, Newbee, like you mentioned earlier, going towards the Rift Herald. Going to try and take this one down more, and Swift. I'm going to be doing this one out, poking at its eyes. Not very nice, but kills it quicker.
I mean, the fact that I can tell you what they're going to do in advance means that for some reason, they've got it back together. Like, they're actually making the right moves sometimes.
For now.
Yeah, sometimes. The right moves.
SUIZ puts down a very early ultimate towards Dade there on this Twisted Fate. It's been 12 minutes, hasn't used his ultimate yet. And he's now in the side lane. Does have teleport, but I didn't know you put Twisted Fate in this lane. It's a good Temper Fate comes out, actually stops the turret from dealing damage. March, though, has to flash away. Brom's ultimate going to come down, not going to connect with the Rek'Sai. That was the first piece of action we've had in this game in a long time.
Yeah, they forced a flash out of Dade, so it's not too bad as an end result. But with March using his own flash, everything kind of gets evened out and diffused. Well placed, honestly, from Moore and Swift. They get the Rift Herald, they immediately recall. March is he's in.
Teleports are actually coming in for both the top laners here. Rek'Sai was trying to find a positional advantage. Dade now takes his stun card, looking to try and find someone. Power Convergence is going to be put down at a choke point. Not going to be able to lock anyone down, but Swift jumping aggressively towards STYZ. Echoes here as well. They're locking down the Caitlyn, putting a lot of damage down, but the healer is going to be able to come out. Caitlyn dealt a lot of damage to the backlines, but so is Happy, who's already taken down Acorn. Snoopy in the meantime, he's taken down V. Suddenly, though, Newbee are running for the hills as Saint just charge on forward. And they're able to trade 1-for-1. Both top laners getting taken down.
Yeah, we get our first skirmish, and once again, Newbee, they just cannot do it. Snoopy on this victory is just huge at the moment. He's actually changing all of these fights. And that was overzealous from Newbee, to say the least. That call to continue pushing in there and looking for a fight was not the right play. They pushed them off. They got the red buff. Just let it be.
And Snoopy is 2-0-0 right now, so has a small lead for himself this early. Already going for a Sheen pickup after upgrading his Hex Core a little bit. So aggressive item build coming out from the Victor.
Very early Lich Bane. Is going to be the look, as he's actually got a fair bit of CS over Dade also. And whilst the lane assignment made sense to put the Twisted Fate down there, I guess the question is how early did they look to do this, and was that the right move? Given that Victor can farm, the Twisted Fate got zoned.
Yep.
And they fought where the TF was. They didn't utilize his teleporter ultimate. It's effectively 2 of his spells wasted. And it's unfortunate.
Big thing for me in this game as well is the fact that Happy has kept even with STYZ so far. In fact, slightly ahead of CS. Has a kill to his name as well. So he's been doing well in contrast to what we've seen in the last 2 games. Hopefully be able to keep up this performance for the Newbee lineup.
Yeah. I mean, he was okay in game number 2 as the Lucian. It was more that number 1 was an absolute disaster, but and the turret.
Saint able to equalize the turret advantage, but here comes the first Destiny being popped there by Dade. Good flash away for Snoopy. Gets him to safety and away from the Braum ultimate as well. So they burn the Destiny for a flash.
Yeah, and if every time he uses his Destiny it gets a flash, it's still a success. He has teleported. That's STYZ.
Does get caught out there by the Parallel Convergence, but it's going to be able to walk away.
Drake's actually the point of contention. Saint have shown a tendency to want to fight for this.
Question is, can they? As we do see now, they're getting jumped on more, taking a lot of damage. The Swift tries to run away from the pit. That Dragon still being leashed. Though Acorn able to take down more. It's now at 4-on-5. They choose to fight for this one. The Dragon is at 900 health. Laser comes out. Kindred still able to get the smite down. A good ultimate from Bard. Able to lock down V and Acorn. Or V and Dade, sorry. And they take down V as well. That's 2 kills for the Saint lineup.
Yeah, and the Drake with it. Honestly, Newbee are just not committing to anything as a team right now. That was a fight that started with an AD carry from Saint that was missing most of his health bar. He ends the fight with the exact same amount of health, but it does not matter. Target selection, decision making, everything is lacking from Newbee this early in the game, and Saint just looked fine except for that.
That was embarrassing.
That's all that was. That was definitely embarrassing. Swift does a lot of damage.
That's fair. He is Kindred.
The end result still favors Saint, unless they get this middle lane turret now as an immediate response.
I mean, both teams are even in gold. I think the only big thing for Newbee right now, those 2 Mountain Dragons, means these turrets will fall a lot faster. Extra 20% damage at the moment. But Saint, they look good in this series so far. Even after the blunders in Game 1,
Yeah.
they're looking really good. Gelling a lot better as a team. Their teamwork has improved tremendously, looking towards objectives as well.
I know that I don't want to credit Saint for too much, given how Newbee are playing, but I definitely feel the necessity to occasionally say that they are still playing well. You have to give them that credit.
March able to take his blue buff after he gets leashed away by Swift there. Thank you very much, Swift.
So realistically, like, Saint are still in the position of power in this series between the two teams. And yeah, the saving grace is absolutely that Swift secured the Drake. It didn't look like he was going to be able to, but the end result, you know, got there, got over the line.
And took it down. Next dragon that spawns actually going to be a Cloud Dragon, so not as important for the Saints and Newbee teams to fight over. So Newbee want to give it up. I think they'd be more than happy to not contest for it. But this tower is going to fall in favor of Saint. Snoopy, Stew, and STYZ collapse on towards it. They take that one down, giving themselves a gold lead for the first time in this match.
There's a window as well where Caitlyn's meant to drop off a little bit in strength. It's usually when you want to have all of the sieging happen. You've got all of your traps set up. Usually max that W first. Maybe 2 levels in the queue, depending on how your laning phase is going. And so once they get to that point in the game, they should be able to bridge the Caitlyn to the late game or even mid game 2-item spike. And it feels like they're already getting there before she has 1.
STYZ, he's known for his Caitlyn play as well. It's his signature champion. He's put on some phenomenal performances, not just this split on Caitlyn, but previously. He's been a god at the champion.
Yeah, and of course, even with the Caitlyn changes, he's kept it true. Absolutely.
Snoopy, he's already picked up his Lich Bane in the mid lane, which we see some Victors pick up. I know Spawn's a big fan of it. It's actually Akon getting jumped on. There is a teleport coming up to the top lane. Here comes Dade. Not opting to use a Destiny for this one. Throws out a wildcard. Gets dodged out by Akon, but the stun's coming in as well. Moore's up here too. They lock down Akon with 4 members strong from the Saint lineup. Going to be able to eventually take down the Maokai. Question is if Saint can get anything out of it. They're looking towards mid lane.
Yeah, and losing Akon doesn't actually get Newbee anything. It's a nice pick. Look at the way that Saint can then rotate straight to the bottom side of the map. Even just putting damage onto this structure realistically favors Saint. Another teleport though, and V, he hasn't been spotted.
Destiny is actually coming out as well. Power Convergence getting put down. Not going to lock down STYZ, but March and Snoopy not having a great time. Temper Fate comes out, not going to connect with Happy. STYZ now getting taken down really low. Dade picks up that kill. Suddenly this team fight looks like it's in Newbee's favor as Shield gets jumped on now. He's going to get taken down. Swift is now in the backline. Flashes aggressively forward on top of Snoopy. He's going to take it down. Puts down Lamps with Spite as well to keep himself alive. Newbee just find another team fight for themselves.
And they just get the team fight. Just outright find themselves an opportunity to attack using double teleports once again. So they get a pick top lane, and ultimately Saint were making the right move, trying to get the bottom lane turret, because it was the Twisted Fate that uses the teleport. They can recall, go back to base, and use Vs to get a flank as well as the TF ultimate, instead of the teleport being a necessity. So this is Newbee actually playing the map well, responding to what was still a good decision from Saint. They just got bested at teamfight execution.
Saint now, they've lost that gold advantage they previously held. In fact, swung completely in Newbee's favor. They're about 2,000 gold up, 2,500 gold up off this Saint lineup. And if they're already teamfighting that strong this early into the game, can only progress to the later parts of the match as well. And that was a pretty unique decision-making coming out from the Newbee lineup. Get a pick top lane with a teleport from Dade. Immediately get a double flank bottom lane to pick up the team fight.
I like it. I really like the map movements. It's something they should absolutely continue to do, though. Work around a 1-3-1. Just don't die to the Caitlyn. These two are going at it.
V and Akon just going to duke it out. March is up at the top lane here. Try and protect him. Baron has spawned, and Dragon number 3 is going to be coming online in about 30 seconds.
Swift is having a field day. Man gets his blue buff. Dade, of course, on the bottom side of the map is why. But that makes you happy as a jungler. Currently has a Phantom Dancer on his Kindred, which is not a Runar's Hurricane. That's his choice. Of course, dueling item means that Victor may not be able to one-hit him. We'll see. Until he gets a Hex Drinker, I don't believe that.
Interesting pickup coming in
Bard's ult
from the Kindred. But there is the stun code coming in from Dudley's, but he's trying to evade the lockdown coming in from these 3 members of Saint. But Snoopy puts down the Chaos Storm, picks up a kill. Meanwhile, mid lane, that's aggressive coming out of Happy. Tries to take him one-on-one.
Yeah, forces a response flash out of STYZ, but he lives. And so it's not actually anything that they get from this besides Saint getting another pick into the bottom lane onto Dade, picking on what is a very much killable member of Newbee. He won't have any way to get to this Drake.
You know, Saint going to be able to take
Swift.
down the 3rd dragon in this game.
Nope.
Swift is looking for it. He's not going to be able to take it down. So Saint find the 1st dragon for themselves, 3rd dragon of the game. And it's Cloud Dragon though, so Newbee probably okay with that.
Yeah, he'd be perfectly content with that once again. He's looking towards their late game, looking towards their win conditions, something they have to continue to play towards. It's ultimately the most important part of this. There's a slight edge for Snoopy, and we called it a battle of the mid lane as it feels like that is definitely still holding true. But March is having his say, and so is Swift, both of them showing up in game number 3. Which is important, because Newbee didn't have that for the first 2 games.
Nope. Let's see how the rest of this game progresses. For now, though, we can take stock of what items have been picked up by these 2 teams. Lichbane also being picked up here by Dade on this Twisted Fate. A little bit more of a standard item for this mid lane matchup.
And it's also standard for Victor, just maybe not as the 2nd immediate item. Usually they get a Rylizer, an Abyssal Scepter, something defensive, and usually also finish their perfect Hex Core. At the moment, he's sitting on blue. Mark II.
Well, he's 3-1-2, so it's a pretty impressive game so far. Was MVP in the last match as well. We can see Happy on Sivir. He's picked up the Essence Reaver and the Static Shift to go with it. So lots of cooldown reduction, lots of crits as well coming out from this Sivir. Top lane, Frozen Fist being the priority pickup coming in for the Echo, as well as the Spectre's Carl to boot. There's Maokai looking to be a little bit more tanky with the Spirit Visage and the Balmy Cinder pickup.
And Snoopy playing coy. He's trying way too hard to get a pick. He's going to be spotted. And now that's a big teleport advantage, actually. Depending on what Dade does, because you should have seen him. Yeah, there we go.
Swift being rather aggressive there, jumping over the wall. That's Happy, going to get ulted there by STYC one more time. Just takes some damage in the face.
I'm not sure what Newbee's thinking about here. It looks like they're threatening near the Baron area.
It does look like that's what they want to try and take down.
Once again, because the Victor is bottom, they have this window of opportunity. Double teleports, immediate rotation available. And look at the way Snoopy's trying to play. He's actually just trying to find Dade. But he's blind, so finding him is not easy.
Going to be a very difficult task. For now, though, very quiet between these 2 teams. Just like the 2nd game, you know, there was a calm before the storm. And it was Saint that thrived in that chaos. That eventually took place.
They're still trying to find each other. The tri-bush was pinged, so Snoopy's going for it.
Oh, there's the Destiny coming out. Snoopy pops down the Chaos Storm, interrupts it there. Now looking to try and take down this Twisted Fate. Good cleanse is going to be coming out from the Victor. Going to continue chasing this Twisted Fate. Does have the stun card available. Puts down a red card instead. Rest of the map though, big fight taking place. Flash over for the wall for the shooter, tries to stay alive, but Swift picks up the kill. Dade is still alive and running havoc in this bottom lane. Gets a stun card, not going to be able to find him. The laser's going to be able to take him down.
Yeah, so they actually get a pick, and it's a support for a mid laner here. Newbee getting the best of a bad situation. Can't complain with that, still a trade.
Yep. Meanwhile, up at the top lane, Acorn finds an Echo. Regrets his decisions in life.
Find more than an Echo. We'll see.
He's going to try and run away.
The Sivir moves fast.
He might be able to catch up here, but Acorn actually taking a lot of damage. Forced to flash away. Did not want anything to do with the Sivir that was chasing him behind him.
A lot of respect shown. Acorn struggling. Snoopy does still get the kill, though, on the Dade. So as far as mid laners are concerned, Snoopy winning this battle does mean there are no summoner spells, though, that can be used offensively for both of these guys, nor defensively with that cleanse. That's a scary prospect until that's back available against the Twisted Fate team. And an Echo. And a Braum.
Well, Newbee still have the gold advantage at the moment. It's not that huge of advantage from what we've seen in the 2 games so far, but still one nonetheless. Dragon's going to spawn for the next 2 minutes here. And Aegis of the Legion being picked up by both the supports on either side too, so lots of magic resistance to mitigate the damage from Dade and Snoopy. March also has his random ends open, so that's a very tanky Rek'Sai. You can see already the traps being put down by the Caitlyn.
Yeah, and he's not even in that lane, but it's got enough zoning presence because it'll lock you down that the Victor can threaten them as a point of attack. Saint definitely still content with getting towards the late game stage, but you run a risk against every Twisted Fate comp when you hit late game. Even the Kindred starts to put in work.
Destiny actually being used there. Parallel converges deep into enemy territory, not going to connect with anyone. Smaug can actually teleport down to the lane as well, try and stop any aggression coming out from the Newbee lineup, which means they do have the double teleport advantage right now.
They do, and that's a big advantage gained. You should imagine we will see Dade go bottom lane. We'll have the Echo go top lane also. 1-3-1 with Drake in just under a minute, like 30-odd seconds.
Yep.
I think that's actually a big point of power to work around here on the side of Newbee, where Saint have to just balls to the wall, 5-man, go near it. If Caitlyn could just not be farming Raptors or red buff for a second, that'd be great.
Well, Dragon is going to be spawning in 20 seconds here already. Saint looking to try and take control of this pit. They do take them the risk scuttle as well, so they have extra movement speed and vision over the Dragon pit. 10 seconds till it spawns too, so they have good position right now.
Yeah, no, they have great position. This is where the mental battle actually starts. Do we do the Drake on spawn, or do we let them run us around with a 1-3-1? And then just get forced into a fight where we might be mismatched, might be caught out of position. V shouldn't stop on the top side of the map. He has enough ward control of the area, generally speaking, to feel happy or to feel okay.
Why would you want to feel happy? He's a massive Sivir. It's on your team too.
I'm not valuing that one with a response.
So far though, kind of similar to game 2. You know, a little bit of action taking place early. Now, everyone just wants to farm and wait as long as they possibly can. This is another Mountain Dragon, so Newbee would want it. I think they'd be content with Saint taking that if they have to.
Both teams love a good late game team fight, so the best way they can get there is probably the way that they'll go.
Dragon has been started though by Saint. March and Snoopy looking to take it down. We did see Newbee flick their eyes towards the Baron.
Look at Snoopy. He wants one thing. He has his cleanse back up.
It's Dade. He's looking for it. Gets the extra movement speed with the Q. Dade knows what happens if he goes in the Fog of War and tries to use his ultimate. There's the Destiny coming out. He's waiting for it. And that's where the stun card's coming out. Cleanse actually going to come out there. Snoopy just holding on to the Chaos Storm. Knows he doesn't have to use it just yet. The actual second proc of the laser's going to be able to take him down. And Snoopy finds a kill. But meanwhile, Saint, they've erupted to a full-blown team fight as a double kill has gone over towards Happy. He's looking for March as well. V trying to chase him down.
He's going for the Baron.
Ultimate actually being used to keep himself alive. V flashes over the wall. They're going to be able to take this one down. March now gives himself a kill to the Newbee lineup. They find more.
Guess who's here?
Here comes Ankle to the top lane with Snoopy. Can't quite find the Echo. Use the ultimate to get away. Happy trying to deal as much damage as possible. Ankle moving to the back lines. Trying to get the damage down. Chaos Storm's being dropped. Snoopy going to take down Happy. And Acorn will eventually fall to V here after he takes down Snoopy.
Yeah, very impressive team fight now from Newbee. Just hits that point in the game, you know. They can absolutely look confident. And the funny part about this entire thing is how Dade's presence in the bottom lane lets them do this. Not only does he have the teleport and the threat that Snoopy has to commit towards, Snoopy doesn't have one. He's using Cleanse to get these kills, and that backfires because no Victor, no team fighting, and Saint just get ruined.
Whew. And that is now a 6,000 gold advantage for Newbee. That was the storm we were looking for. It was a lot of calm. And then just a huge team fight over Baron takes place. Snoopy eventually gets there, like you mentioned, but it's just not enough.
But it's predictable now. That's the second time that he's looked for it. And the first time they still found a pick and 1-for-1 traded. The second time's just outright massacre. You don't want to be on the other end of. If you're Saint, and they pay for it. Signs of being the young, inexperienced, and perhaps just new team are still showing.
And you know, this looks a lot more like the Newbee we expected it to be. Not quite, but Snoopy, what are you doing there?
He wanted that blue buff.
Blue buff
too
does
much.
Go on over towards Swift. He picks up a mark for it as well. As here comes the Destiny. Newbee trying to pull the trigger. Dade does get locked down inside of the Temper Fate. And will stop the aggression coming out from the Newbee lineup.
The defusal Bard ultimate, all things considered, they don't actually get the engage, but the Bard ultimate being down means that Newbee are actually in a point of power.
And they are actually going to continue pushing here. You can see the stun going down on towards the Rek'Sai as they take down the mid lane inner turret. Now looking towards the inhibitor. It's something that Newbee do not struggle with, that Saint does, which is going towards the base. Stun towards shield, puts a lot of damage down with the cards. March wants to try and stop this. Happy is trying to kite him back and forth. March takes a lot of damage. Red Blade comes back. Happy picks up a kill. Now here comes Acorn. Flashes forward, coming from Moore, trying to take it backwards. As Swift in the meantime deal damage to turrets somewhere else in the map. Moore is going to be able to take down Acorn as Swift goes over the wall. Going to be able to take down Shield. Happy goes one-on-one with STYZ. We see Sonya's Elgas be put down by Dade as they take down the inhibitor turret. I think Newbee going to be able to take down this inhibitor and possibly more from that.
Yeah, they get the inhibitor, they get the top lane pushed, the bottom lane pushed, and the money just explodes in their favor.
Whew.
That is a gigantic lead now secured by them.
63.
Swift isn't done.
1,000 gold as Swift aggressively jumps forward, trying to take down Snoopy. Newbee now looking to try and take down the top lane inhibitor. They will be able to take it down as well. That's 2 inhibitors broken for the Newbee lineup, with only the bottom lane left up and standing for Saint.
And 13,000 gold is now the lead.
March looking to try and find someone here. He's going to be able to find Dad. I don't think he quite wants to be there as a teleport. It's going to be coming out from Acorn.
They want it.
Teleports are coming as well from V. Saint desperately trying to fight for this one. Acorn is going to be able to lock down Happy for a short time. Actually gets the kill on towards the AD carry. And so now Newbee have to try and run away.
Flash.
Destiny has been popped there, trying to spot out the rest of the Saint members. There comes the Temper Fate. Not going to connect with anybody from Newbee. They're still going to be able to run away. Saint, though, they're going to lose a lot of their base if they keep up this chase.
Yeah, STYs, they should have enough wave clear to get them through it in one piece. I must say, the flash from Acorn shows that they're struggling with their communication here on the side of Saint. He thought he was caught. He definitely wasn't caught, as the cavalry was there.
It had arrived.
Yeah, and still it's a big gold lead, even with that one pick back on the Happy. He is a massive Sivir. There's still so much damage coming out of Swift.
13,000 gold. Newbee has a sizable advantage here.
Just makes you wonder where this was in the first 2 games.
What was going on?
Because there's not a lot that's changed. Swift has basically shown up to play in game number 3 and has actually given it to them.
He's 5-0-5 this time round, not getting picked off randomly.
Yeah, and with Dade even dying a lot, because yes, he's the point of focus. He was carrying them in game 1 and 2.
Yep.
They've got it done without him.
He's been camped, so to speak, by Snoopy as well, looking for the flanks wherever he could in the bottom lane.
Yeah, and that resource commitment, honestly, that came out of Saint was what turned this entire game back into their hands of Newbee. Putting the Victor bottom, like, all good and well, you get the 1-for-1 trade, but the rest of your team can't really 4v4. STYZ 0-3, he can't fight.
This is going to be a struggle at best for Saint. We saw they couldn't close out a game when they were 10,000 gold ahead. Now they're 13,000 gold behind. This is going to be struggle street for Saint after what was a very impressive game 2 from the lineup. And even game 1.
Yeah. There's very few ways that I can see them coming back into this one. And it's going to require an impeccable team fight. They don't have a Vladimir to keep them in this.
Newbee just trying to use brute force right now towards the bottom lane after middle and top lanes inhibitors have already been taken down. March does take the ace in the hole to the face there, not taking too much damage in return.
And the cool thing about what they can do here on the side of Newbee is have Dade and or V threatening the lanes that already have inhibitors down. Look towards the turrets, force people to respond, and actually just be there when the fight breaks out, if it does. It's harder to do without a Baron buff. You can see it starting to mount now, and it might cause disarray in the Saint roster. They might make mistakes.
Newbee taking their time, being very patient here. In fact, Dragon is back up and online. Baron's coming out very shortly too. They could, if they can't break this turret, possibly go towards those objectives instead.
Yeah, but given the gold deficit, I feel like they should look towards this before they concede a Dragon.
Snoopy now standing in the front line, so you can already see more trying to protect Happy. Throws out Boomerang Blades one more time, trying to push out this wave. As V getting some work done up in the top lane, forcing Acorn to respond to this creep wave that's pushing towards the turret. STYZ even brought up here as well as Dade putting in some work at the mid lane. Newbee doing some good minion wave control right now.
Yeah, the battle on all fronts, pulling Saint around the map, trying to execute while Swift can just like one-man this. It's clever. But with the Baron up, they should just go get that.
Swift's going to be able to take down the Infernal Dragon. The rest of the team is now backing away from the base. Whew, that is a big power play.
Yep, massive power play. And remember that the Baron is now up again, so they could very easily make another one. And I think that is all they'd need to put that final nail in the coffin and really give it to Saint.
Looks like they're going to be doing that in just a second. Swift trying to clear out whatever wards he can over the pit first before heading towards the Baron pit. Saint still stuck in their base and at the bottom side of the map. Only Shu is down here so far.
Started it.
And they're just going to try and take this one down. No response coming out just yet from the Saint lineup. They're trying to move members down towards the bottom side of the map. In fact, they do have people here now. Destiny has been popped just to spot our vision of where they are. Here comes the teleport from Maokai trying to get there. Dade is going to port in as well using his Destiny. Teleport actually getting cancelled there, but Maokai. Swift will be able to pick up the Baron. March now running for the heals. He tries to get out of there.
They're
Swift
teleporting
is going to jump in. There is the ultimate coming in to try and keep him alive. There's the ace to the hole trying to shut him down. They do get Swift, but there's that teleport into the base. V looking to try and close this one out. The turrets are falling. The Nexus is going to take damage shortly. Acorn
But the inhibitors are up.
is there, and the inhibitors are coming back up. They've already lost Swift. Newbee are looking to try and end this game wherever they possibly can. They're moving towards the Nexus.
They still have a big health advantage.
Acorn takes a lot of damage. Twisted Advance keeps himself alive. That inhibitor is going to get worked on by Newbee, trying to take it down. They do take it down with this Baron buff, and without Swift, they should still be able to work towards the base of Saint. Then on another inhibitor, Newbee playing it very cautious here without their jungler.
No jungler, no problems at the moment for Newbee. This gold lead is still unreasonably large. Once they get control of the bottom side of the map, once they have their jungler back in their ranks, I think they'll be okay. Those inhibitors were timed way too well.
Yep.
Way too well.
Acorn as well, opting not to use his teleport to get to the bottom side. Forced the Destiny out from Dade. V also teleported back, and by cancelling his teleport, was able to meet him and stop him from doing any more damage to the base of Saint. They're holding on here. They want a win here in the summer split of the LPL. They want an actual best-of-3 series win.
Just one. They should have had this game. They won game 2 and 1 was basically theirs.
10,000 gold ahead. You lose a game.
13,000.
Pick up game number 2. And then game number 3, you fall behind this far and you still hold on. Saint definitely have hope right now. They have to try and do something though, because right now, Newbee...
This is like OKC in the playoffs of the NBA, man. That's what this is.
Newbee with their massive gold, they're looking to just storm through their base. It's not?
Nah, it's not. OKC are rude. No, I'm not going to say it.
Saint now trying to desperately defend their final inhibitor turret. Minions are crashing towards the final Nexus turret though.
Yeah, now they can do the exact same lane assignment, but with an extra Baron buff to boot. It lasts a while. Swift's gone man mode.
That is aggressive from Swift, actually jumping forward towards Shu. Now has to pop the ultimate down early to keep himself alive. This turret is not taking any minions here, as it's going to be focusing towards some Newbee members. Happy now, going toe-to-toe with Newbee. Is going to be able to take him down. Newbee are just slowly slaughtering the remaining members of the Saint lineup. They've already picked up 3 kills from themselves, and they're just ignoring that final inhibitor. They've gone towards the Nexus. STYZ is just desperately trying to keep himself alive. But after a prolonged, incredibly extended series, Newbee are finally able to pick up the win against Saint.
That's not a victory that'll feel very sweet for Newbee.
I think the look on their faces just tells the story for both teams. Newbee, they were frustrated even after winning the game. Saint just can't believe what just happened.
They had the taste of victory.
They were robbed.
And they were absolutely robbed by Vladimir and Dade. But just like that, Newbee, with a bittersweet feeling of a win. You're not going to feel too happy about it, but a win's a win. And they get it on their board.
The thing is, this was expected from the Newbee lineup. They were expected to pick up the win here against Newbee today. Problem is, the way they did it was just not good from a lineup that we thought would be at least second place in the LPL coming into the split.
Yep. Lots of problems, honestly, for Newbee at the moment. I think I had 2 words